the franchise or what?
All the things that we are giving to you is under the franchise and business. That is it, sir.
Okay.
So for those people who are interested in this seminar, the seminar, it is not free. In Abuja, we do this training at the rate of 25,000 naira. But here, we do it just 15,000 naira.
50,000 naira.
Exactly.
Okay.
And we give grace for the first 10 people to register for this training. We give them grace to pay just 10,000 naira.
Okay, it means 10,000 naira for the first 10 people. Okay.
For those people who are ready to participate in this training, this seminar is coming up this Saturday on your WhatsApp line. So you can register yourself ahead by paying into our company account.
Before the day?
Yes. So the account number to pay to is 20-800 240-69. 20-800 240-69. The bank is EcoBank. The account name is Sack Your Boss, Dream to Become Your Own Boss. So you can call me on my 5367. Don't forget, this training will help you to have constant daily income, especially during this lockdown. Even if you are not going anywhere, with this platform, you can make your cool money.
Mr. Daily Income,
Yes,
you
sir.
said this seminar is going to hold on WhatsApp and Telegram.
Exactly.
Sir, why is it on WhatsApp and Telegram? And what plan do you have for people that are not on social media?
Well, I want you to know that we are in 21st century. Everything has changed. And you need to change your mindset. You need to upgrade yourself to the level of where the world is now. And as I'm talking right now, we have over 200 participants that have been benefit from us. When we are talking about this franchise business, this is a training that we have been doing in Ogun State, Oyo State, and many people have been enjoying it in Lagos State also, through WhatsApp and Telegram. For those who does not have WhatsApp line, you can use your friend WhatsApp for this training. And you can also participate through our website, www.dailyincomeschool.org. I'm not talking about networking, telling you go and bring 2-3 people. Yes, no. It's not printing of recharge card. Also, it's not Forex. But we are introducing you to a platform that has been existing since 5 years ago in UK. And they are paying to all their partners every day. So if you want to learn more about this program coming up this Saturday, which cost 15,000 naira for participants. So the account number to pay to is 20-800 240-69. 20-800 240-69. The bank is EcoBank. The account name is Sack Your Boss, Dream to Become Your Own Boss. After you have made your payment, send me the evidence of payment and your name, and I will forward you my WhatsApp number so I can add you to the training group.
Okay, Mr. Daily Income, do you think this COVID-19 cannot affect this franchise business, sir?
The truth about this thing is that once the COVID-19 cannot affect you to Google, to browse on your phone, to use your Facebook. Okay. Oh my God. The business I'm introducing to you, COVID-19 cannot affect it. You will surely get paid. This Saturday, we are teaching you 3 different things. And after this Saturday, we will be showing you different information also. After this training, you can now start investing into this platform. And we have the one you can start as low as 5,000 naira, and we have the one that you can start as low as 11,000 naira, and we have another one that you can start as low as 40,000 naira. So it depends on your pocket. Okay. Once you are in my daily income school, I will be sharing my 13 years experience in this field with you, and I will be giving you different information to earn money on a daily basis. Okay. Once you know how to write and read, and you can go to your bank to withdraw money, this training is for you. So it's for everybody, either old or young.
What time will it hold, sir?
Train is coming up 3 times this Saturday inside your home on your WhatsApp line. The first one will come up exactly 9 a.m. when the second one is coming up exactly 3 p.m. and we are going to teach you the last training by 8 p.m. So if you are ready, don't forget the training is not free. This training costs 15,000 naira.
50,000 naira.
Exactly.
Okay.
If you are ready to pay your money, you send me your debit alert and also your name, your WhatsApp number. so I can add you to the training group. So the account number to pay to is 20-800 240 69. 20-800 240 69. The bank is EcoBank. The account name is Sack Your Boss, Dream to Become Your Own Boss. So you can call me on my phone number, Mr. Daily Income, on 070 45 25 53 67. 070 45 25 53 67.
Mr. Daily Income, you mean we don't need to bring anybody before we give money on
I've said it. The kind of program we have for you on this WhatsApp training and Telegram, you don't need to bring 1 or 2 people before you are get paid. This is a kind of franchise business that you can do at comfort of your home. You do it by yourself. We are not asking you to come and invest in through us. You invest directly to that company. The 15,000 naira that you pay to us is a training fee. It's like you pay a school fees. After you understand it, you can now start investing directly with those companies. Okay. What we are giving to you this time around, you do it yourself. You are not marketing anything. After giving you all this training, we give you the link to this company, the one in UK and also the one in Philippines. Okay. And the third one, we show you how you can invest with little and get cool money. This is a kind of training that we have been doing on Telegram, WhatsApp, and people are giving thanks to it. And there are a lot of testimony because it has changed many people's life. Wow. Because information is power. What you need is to take a step. Come and see how you can make money with ease. Come and see how people are generating constant income with ease. In this franchise business that I'm going to show you, some people are making cool money on a daily basis. I'm not talking about money they want to use to eat. I'm talking about money they can use to do good thing in life. Program. So you are interested to participate in this. Maybe you have an Android phone or you do not have an Android phone. Just go to our website www.dailyincomeschool.org. Quickly call me or you send your payments 15,000 naira.
50,000 naira.
Exactly. Okay. And we give grace for the first 10 people to register for this training. We give them grace to pay just 10,000 naira.
Okay, it means 10,000 naira for the first 10 people.
That's 5,000 deduction for the first 10 people to register.
Okay.
So the account number to pay to is 20-800 240 69. 20-800 240 69. The bank is EcoBank. The account name is Sack Your Boss, Dream to Become Your Own Boss. So you can call me on my phone number, Mr. Daily Income, on 070 45 25 53 67. 070 45 25 53 67. I'm not talking about networking, telling you go and bring 2-3 people up. Yes, no. It's not printing of recharge card. Also, it's not forex. But we are introducing you to a platform that has been existing since 5 years ago in UK, and they are paying to all their partners. Some people are calling me, Mr. Daily Income, please shed more light. What is this training is all about? Let me just tell you this. We created a platform called www.dailyincomeschool.org, and in this school we are training people different kind of online business that can fetch money for them. We are not asking you to come and give us money. I mean to come and invest through our company that will be giving you return on it. Capital no, sir. Our own is to show you how you can make daily income through the company that we are going to introduce to you. Some people called me that, Mr. Daily Income, how can we meet you one-on-one, or where is your office? Yes, before COVID-19, I have a physical office, but these days we have upgraded to digital office, which is www.dailyincomeschool.org. That is my office. We are in another world entirely. This is a digital world. This is an e-world. If it is possible for you to worship God inside your home on your phone and you still pay your tithe and offering, if it is possible for your children to attend school on their Android phone, if it is possible for me to send money to China because I want to import goods and I sent it without seeing the person I sent money to, and they brought the goods to me in Nigeria. I must confess to you, you have to change your mindset. So the program we are holding, we are doing it for those people who understand that we are in a digital era. So you don't need to see me before you partner with all this company. And I'm not asking you to come and give me money so I can do it for you. You do it yourself and you withdraw your money to your bank every day. You can call me on my phone number, Mr. Daily Income, on 070 45 25 53 67.
So thank you, our listener, for being part of this program today. And don't forget, information is power. Thank you and stay safe. Bye for now.
Hooray! Today FM is at it again. Pay for 2 slots of production and get the third free. Yes! Produce 2 items with us and get the third one absolutely free. And more information, call the following numbers:
0818 389 2850. Again, 0818 389 2850.
Only on Today 95.1 FM. 95.1 FM.
This is Today 95.1 FM. To copy this tune, press 9.
This is Today 95.1 FM.
For current news and information, press 5.
They are politicians, all of them. They know what they do.
So they know how they attack each other.
To stay connected all day, press 1.
The person who raised the alarm is the one who made the public know about
it. Good afternoon and welcome to the World News on your Premium Talk Radio station.
We are your Premium Talk Radio station. Today 95.1 FM, the station with a unique dial.
There is never a dull moment of this dial.
But let's get on now to what is happening here in Nigeria.
In the southwest, we have 136, south 131, southeast 30. I'm not talking about the ones that died months ago. And Mr. President is busy traveling.
The foundation in this democratic era we're experiencing today, honestly, believe me, this person soiled it. At the time he was tearing his party card, I was very ashamed. He didn't notice that he was tearing himself.
How long will you keep on complaining? We keep you informed, thrilled, and inspired.
I need to select. I like every kind of woman. But man, light skin does it for me. I'm not racist. That's what I'm saying. I could take anybody. You know what I'm saying?
We are your Premium Talk News and Sports Radio. Today, 95.1 FM. Don't touch that dial.
All right. We've got to go. It's 11:31 today.
Driver, if not that Muslim man, me I no go enter this your motor. Because I can't enter that motor with this Muslim.
Madam, enter. I take a baby. Well, if this woman enter this car, I go drop. I go drop from this car.
I don't want to enter. My child and his child
driver,
I
go pay you. I go pay you. Make I do something now. I go pay you. Let go. I go pay you. I be allergic. I go pay you. No carry that woman. No carry that woman. Madam, una hear me now. Christian and Muslim, no be the same Nigeria we be. We be brother and sister now. No carry that woman. I go pay you. No could they go. You go pay me. I go pay you. Make I go.
Do we need to be guarded by one religion to meet with the Creator? The freedom of worship is a natural right to every being. Why raise arms to drag a man to accept your choice of belief? The spiritual directors now trade the message of salvation for hatred and disrespect of other religions. For all our struggles are aimed at eternity, and choice is the principle of identifying your own God.
Whether Christian or Muslim, we are all one.
Hey, you have a point anyway.
If love is the pathway to eternity, let's walk together as one in love and give respect to a man's choice of worship.
Wallahi, don't worry, I will pay for you. Or your inter, I will pay for you.
This information is brought to you by Today95.1 FM, Voice of the People.
You can never plan the future by the past. He who has a right to live can bear almost anyhow. Lost time is never found again. It is the province of knowledge of wisdom to listen. I don't take life too seriously. You'll never get out of it alive. Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. In the end. It is not the years in your life that counts. It is the life in your years. Make it count with us. Make it count with us at Today 95.1 FM. 95.1 FM.
This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people.
Opinion poll on today's quest.
More than 3 over 4 of the loots we're talking about in this country today were loots within the 16 years.
Here is a great opportunity to sample all our opinions on the issues raised.
In Port Harcourt says the PDP is trying to divert our attention because Nigerian funds was looted by the PDP. Melody in Uniport says Madam Jonah is yet to come in terms of the fact that her tenure has expired. Annie, please tell him that investigation is not what you make public until the final stage.
Send your opinion to us on Facebook,
www.facebook.com/Today95.1 FM.
or on Twitter @TodayFM951. You can also sample your opinions with us on WhatsApp or on our SMS portal using the numbers 070-1933-9962. And it's time for us to move on to opinion poll. And for opinion poll this morning, we're taking this story from the papers. Earlier on, we were dragging on it. I said, well, let's let it be. We'll revisit that story. And that was that of Keyamo and the National Assembly members. Let me quickly read that story. 774,000 jobs. Senators reps Keyamo in shouting match. It says a mild drama ensued at the National Assembly yesterday as the Minister of State for Labour, Employment and Productivity, Festus Keyamo, says that President Buhari had earlier in the year directed that the jobs be created in the 774 local government areas of the country, with the minister superintending it. So that was an order from the president. Each local government is to benefit 1,000 job spaces. The outbursts by both parties played out at the interactive session on the subject between the minister and members of the Joint Committee of the National Assembly on Labour. Trouble started when the National Assembly Committee requested that the Director General of the National Directorate of Employment, Nasiru Ladan, speak on the composition of a 20-man committee inaugurated on Monday by the Ministry for the implementation of the planned employment of Nigerians in the Special Public Works Program 2020. Ladan could not defend the 52 billion naira budgeted for the recruitment of 774,000 Nigerians under the NDE program. The lawmakers were, however, not satisfied with his explanation, having given the impression he was not in control of the program. Halfway into his explanation, after disclosing that he was aware of only 8 members of the committee, Ladan referred to the lawmakers to further seek clarification from the minister. The National Assembly had in the 2020 budget appropriated 52 billion for the special public works program for the employment of 774,000 citizens. At this point, Keyamo said his ministry was asked by President Buhari to supervise the recruitment, but the lawmakers disagreed with his declaration, and this sparked off a shouting match. At this point, Keyamo snapped violently, hitting at the table as the lawmakers threw questions at him, accusing him of hijacking the program from NDE and alleging acute lopsidedness in the entire program. The drama took a different dimension when the lawmakers asked that journalists be excused from the meeting for an inter-executive session with the minister. Keyamo rejected this, insisting that having been openly accused and disgraced, the camera should remain in the room. His outburst infuriated the lawmakers, who asked that he apologize for his behavior, but Keyamo refused, saying he had done nothing wrong to warrant an apology. Keyamo's subtle threat to walk out of the meeting further arced the lawmakers, who asked him to go if he wanted. When he refused to apologize, the lawmakers reached a resolution asking Keyamo to leave the meeting. Keyamo, who spoke to journalists outside, accused the lawmakers of trying to take control of the recruitment under his ministry, said that while he was not opposed to the lawmakers investigating the program, he would not allow himself to be teleguided by them, adding that doing so will mean sharing in the powers of President Buhari. He said despite granting the lawmakers 15% of the job placement, they still wanted to hijack the entire process and take over the powers of the president. Like I said earlier on, I want to know where that 15% is coming from. There's 774,000 slots to be filled. Which local government are they going to take those 15s from? How is it going to work out? I still don't understand. Or that they'll be able to influence the subcommittees on the different states on their own candidates to be taken in. This is what I don't get yet. But in any which case, it seemed as if the actual duty that they were there to do was truncated by issues that didn't need to. It was truncated because they didn't get to carry on questioning Keyamo, cameras here or not. And that in itself truncated the process. So I'm hoping that they'll get back into this maybe some other time when everybody's nerves has calmed down. But we're looking at the issue as it were now. Keyamo is claiming that the lawmakers are trying to teleguide him, and what he's been, and since yesterday we read on the newspaper, we read parts of what he's been saying, that some politicians are trying to take the processes away from them and that they wouldn't allow this to happen. He says he comes from a pedigree and he will maintain that, ensuring that these jobs actually go to the 774,000 Nigerians it was meant to.
Well, whatever they did as a juggling, as it were, to get the 15%, only themselves know. But 15%, according to his revelation, has been already allocated to the lawmakers. And perhaps they want more, or they don't. But the fact remains that they have every right to question him. And that is their oversight function. However, I do not see them as moving towards that lane. Yes, when they asked the Director General, he didn't answer satisfactorily. They should indeed look at him as not being in charge. However, it does not totally mean that. It could be that he was not aware of everything, and so they should indeed go to the minister. And remember, it was the Director General himself that directed the lawmakers now to question Keyamo for further clarifications. What does it show? That Keyamo's ministry was in charge. I don't know whether the lawmakers themselves understood that or not. The problem now is that President Buhari, when the foundation was laid as it were, because he now said the minister, that's the Ministry of that Labor and Productivity, will indeed supervise. Simple. And then when you are coming after that foundation has been laid very solidly, to continue probing and saying that what the ministry has done for instance, is to take over that job from the National Directorate of Employment. What are you doing? You now, as a legislator, want to override the quota of constitutional responsibility given or assigned to the executive, who said is the president. That is what I believe eyed Keyamo there. And he told them no, that he will not join in sharing the powers of the president. Coming to this camera issue and all that, for goodness sake, what happened there? No matter how tense the atmosphere might have got, you are now calling for journalists to go so that it will be done in darkness. No, nobody should see what is going on in Nigeria. And nobody should also hear what is going on as far as this issue is concerned. Keyamo said no. You have accused me of hijacking this particular job from NDE. Please, from start to finish, let me be beamed on by the camera. I'm not leaving. The legislators themselves don't want it that way. And they even threatened to move out. They said, okay, go. And finally, he did. For me, I think Keyamo did not go anywhere wrong to warrant apology. You see, one thing is that the lawmakers, the way I see them, as soon as they don't know that they have a job, and the other people you invited also have their own right. As soon as they invited you you oblige them, they should conduct themselves in a way that shows that they recognize the dignity of the other side. Now, you are asking somebody a question. You unilaterally will tell you that the cameras will not be there. No, but remember that it should be condition precedent that journalists should cover that kind of thing. And you are now unilaterally saying that no, they shouldn't be there because there was a rumpus. No, if from beginning it has been exclusive that they should not be before the press, it's a different issue. Right. But for me, I think Keyamo, there's nothing to blame him there. He didn't offer apology. He never slapped anybody. He only expressed his vehemence in annoyance that showcased that, yes, I was not going to do exactly this thing you are telling me that is untoward. So I don't see anything where he's wrong.
Okay. First in the minute.
Yes, this is very interesting to know. Building on the background that in April this year, when this issue of recruitment of 774,000, people from across the country and paying them stipends at the end of the month to cushion the effect of COVID-19 was announced, Keyamo made it clear to the media that if politicians try or hijack this process, that he will resign. Bearing that in mind and walking in to answer this joint session of the National Assembly Committee that we are trying to act oversight function over this, he noticed what they were doing. Now, these are people that I don't want them to hijack it from the ordinary people. In order not to let them put eye into this as much as they may want to do, 15% have been given to them. We will still discuss. And then they are still sounding this way. I also believe that the joint session of the National Assembly asking him questions on this may have been as a result of maybe complaints that we may not know from the NDE, that maybe the minister is hijacking the whole thing, we don't have a hand on it, it could be in-house. They now say, okay, come forward, let's organize a meeting where we can ask him some questions. And again, the 15% granted them. Maybe they are not satisfied with it, looking at how many followers they have and the ability to give them something. So they now call this meeting. Now, this is something I support Keyamo in terms of not letting the media to leave the house, because you've accused him of hijacking the process. It means the media, they have to balance their story. If you ask them to leave, no matter what it is granted outside later as interview of what happened, they may not really be satisfied. Nigeria wouldn't really know, but they need to be there and be part of the proceedings. So I think he has not done anything wrong that warrants this issue of apology. Never. Yeah, he hasn't, except otherwise indicated. But to me, he hasn't. If I were to be in his shoes too, I wouldn't apologize at that point in time, because I have not done anything that warranted that apology. Now, he has said he will resign if they try to hijack, and he could see that they are trying to hijack this process, and he protested. That is an action from a man who is there to serve the interests of the people. That is why even when he was appointed and made a minister of state, I wasn't happy about it. That is a man that should make a substantive minister, so that when he takes his point, when you hardly see that in Nigeria. People resign when things are not going well. What concerns a man that is taking salary allowances, has cars, security attached to him and everything, from resigning over a job that they will take 20,000 naira per month? But because he has the interest of the people at heart, he made it clear ab initio that, look, if you try to misbehave over the job, he sent a signal to them that he will resign. And now he saw what they are doing. So he's pushing towards that, that direction. But the point remains that 15% have been given to these people. And there is something that the president has in mind by saying that 1,000 should come from each LGA. It means that he wants this job, no matter how small, to circulate to the nooks and crannies of the country in such a way that the poor that really need this money will benefit from this process to cushion the effect. This is part of palliative over COVID-19, if you ask me.
It's just for October and December.
Yes, it's part of palliative to see how we can help the local economy and everything for people to be able to live. Now, if the politicians are hijacking this process, this is the same thing they will just give to their boys in the office. They will put the names of people that don't even need this money. And 1,000 to a local government area. We know some local government area are very populated, and each LGA is subdivided into wards. By 1,000, like in Ghana where I come from, we have 19 wards. If you divide 19 by the 1,000, you have each of the ward producing at least 52 persons. And in that 52 persons, there are a lot of villages that make up each ward. They share in that equal opportunity to those villages. And in those villages, they shouldn't give it to people that can afford. There are people that are roaming the street that this money can help.
Really need it.
That is what we need to look at. So the 15% that these lawmakers were already given, I think it should be withdrawn. They don't need it because they will share it to their boys that are already earning money.
All right, got your thoughts there. Fine system in a minute. Daniel Momo, do you still stand with the fact that...
Absolutely.
All right. Daniel didn't allow me to finish. All right.
At the end of the day, was Keyamo able to now respond to the allegation made by the same man that he insisted that the cameras should be there? It's simple. What the lawmakers can just do is to invite the substantive minister and let Keyamo not be there and see whether questions will be answered while he's there or he's not there, whether they will get answer or not. So for me, I said something the other time that a good administrator is one who is able to also carry the people who disagrees with him. This is not the first time. The former finance minister, Konjo Wela, once disagreed with this Abdul-Mumin's committee, where she politely, no noise, no grandstanding, nothing, politely she asked that she be excused because she does not agree with the process. Aruna Ote then also walked out, agreed with them, said, look, I would not, because she accused this man of Delta State, who is now the minority leader of the House of Representatives, accused him then of collecting money and all of that. And then she politely walked away. Now, the case of where a minister will be hitting the table, for me, is childish. That is one. Two, the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria cannot spend any money if it is not appropriated. Cannot. Even he is the president, he cannot. And Keyamo is just an aide.
But I mean, like they said here, the amount of money was already approved by the National Assembly in the budget.
Yes, I'm going
to. Okay, good. All right.
Yeah. Now for Keyamo to tell us, this didn't come out before, Annie. To now say, oh, they got 15%. When you were giving them the 15%, who did you tell? Did you tell the Nigerian people that you were giving them 15%? But now that you disagree with them, oh, you now come to say that they took 15%. And in politics, this exchange are legal. To say that, look, if you are bringing this budget before us, I represent people.
Who said in politics it is legal?
No, it's very legal.
No, that we say lobbying. Hold on. That we say we should lobby.
It's not illegal.
No, this is not lobbying.
How?
This is not lobbying.
How?
No.
Annie, to say, no, I'm coming, Annie. To say that we'll create something for people.
And then we're asking that you particularly will be involved in having those people who benefit. That's not lobbying.
Sorry, what is this thing for? This this thing we call this project they do. What was the name again? They put in
project. This thing.
Constituency project. Yeah. The same thing as this. The same thing as this. What did they do in constituency project? Is it not lobby to get certain projects in their constituency? It's the same thing as this.
That's what I'm saying. To have certain it's your constituency. and you want to lobby for certain jobs to come there. Those jobs are not going to initiate them. You're not supposed to initiate them. They're supposed to be jobs that are supposed to be going on. Maybe Works wants to do something, or maybe Labour is doing something, and you lobby for it to come to your way. And we have seen how that has taken a different direction now. Like you said, maybe this is the Nigerian way to do it. But when there is something outside the constituency project, as it were now, the NDE is supposed to do it. It was a special intervention system that the government, federal government, decided to bring in. And then you say that because they are legislators, they must be given the opportunity to select the people who will benefit from that. And that's away from that.
Annie, how many is the 15%? 100 and something.
15% is 116,100.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. 100 and something.
Why should they be the ones to bring 1,000 plus?
They represent the local government. They represent the ward. They represent the senatorial district.
That is why there is a committee for each state to bring about the 1,000 per local government.
If they are not satisfied with the way that committee can come up, they have a right to know. How did you select those committees?
If they give them more percentage,
they have a right to know.
Right.
For example, there are people who are now quarreling with the fact that Tinubu's daughter and one of this man, NC Oluomo's son, are part of the committee in Lagos that will do this. People are calling about to the rep or the Senate must know who and how certain persons were brought into that committee. If, unfortunately, that the NDE cannot, for me, there is a break in communication that an NDE under your ministry cannot even defend the simple thing you are asked to do. That aside, so the main issue that you asked, Annie, on the fact that, like I said, and I insist, that the senators and the House of Rep members are the one who invited Keyamo. Keyamo was not the one who wrote to them to be invited. They are the one to decide the mode of how he will be, the questions will be asked him, who should be in the presence of that. It is not in Kiyamo's place to insist that the journalists must be there, except, if the journalists are not there, he wasn't going to say anything. Agreed, he has his right to say, look, if you accuse me in front of the journalists and they are not there, I would not sit here and answer those questions. But to be hitting the table and making the whole thing look like it was a marketplace for me, as a minister, is very unfortunate.
All right, got your thoughts too on that. Let's move on now to Honorable Okere.
Well, I'm guided by some laws because I'm aware there's separation of power between the executive and legislature. Good. Now, that separation of power is not watertight because of some oversight functions, which now enables checks and balances. Now, from the directive of the president didn't say the ministry is in charge. He said the ministry should pretend. Yeah. It means that the agency under that ministry had the responsibility to man that operation. And then the ministry will ensure that they keep to the guidelines by pretending what they will do and then supervising what they intend to do. Now, if at any point in time, because of the oversight functions, the National Assembly has the right to invite any minister, any agency, any authority to come before them and defend what they are doing. Because first and foremost, the funds were appropriated from that National Assembly before the president puts his assent. And then the Constitution has also given them the backing to do those oversight functions. Mm-hmm. So the Director General of National Director of Employment should have the responsibility to know the nitty-gritty and the authority of everything happening within this employment under the supervision of the minister, whether the minister of state or the substantive minister. Now, the fact that the Director General of National Employment is not answering this thing properly means that there is something fishing. There's already conflict, antithesis within the ministry itself. Either there's high-handedness on the part of the ministers, or they are cutting corners already, which is not in tandem or in agreement with all of them. And then this has now snowballed into the greater public, which now made the National Assembly to invite them. The National Assembly, ordinarily speaking, is superior to the ministry. And now, if the National Assembly is regulating a meeting and they invite Festus Kayamo for explanation, at a point where they have asked the media men the media people to work out, it means that they have perceived some level of crisis that they may not like to be in the public glare. And then they have started to say, look, let the media men work out. Let's see if we can still continue to harmonize. Perhaps Kayamo may not be happy with the beginning and they haven't made some statements, but it is incumbent upon him to obey that order. It's a directive. It's not an opinion. It's a directive from the people who invited you and who are presiding over the meeting. It's a directive. So if you are not comfortable with that directive, you say, look, gentlemen, I don't like this. I would have allowed this thing in a gentle and subtle manner. You cannot say you walk out, because the National Assembly has the power to order the president to sack him the next day. Yeah. They have the power to order the president and say, look, until you sack this man, nothing from that ministry can progress.
Why?
Because the national...
On what grounds would they call for the sack? If we don't like him.
If they have power, no, that's what I'm saying. If there's gross misconduct or what they perceive, whether right or wrong, as gross misconduct, they can do so. If the National Assembly has the power to impeach the president or so if you are dealing with the National Assembly, it entails wisdom that you need to be careful. Now, on the issue of 15%, I have just tried to work it out here. It's about 116,100. Now, if you remove that from 774,000 persons, you will have each local government having about 850 persons. Now, if you do a further deepening, you will discover that this 116,100 persons will also be distributed within the various federal constituencies. Now, there was nothing wrong, and that may not be more than 3 or 4 persons per members of National Assembly, which they are going home. Look, they are not appointing this person directly. They will also compile these names and forward to Minister of Employment. I have not seen anything wrong with that. If they say, look, we are engaging 774,000 persons in 774 local government areas in Nigeria. Look, allow us produce. Are they going to produce it from United States of America? Are they not going to produce it from their own locality? They will also come back home. Whether they are going to put names of their cronies, names of those who are already employed. How have you guaranteed that the ministry are not putting names of their cronies? Because we already know what is happening within this, how the names are being selected. Several meetings going on.
We don't know that, so we're not going to speculate. What we do know is that the assembly has taken 15%.
Yes, and
at least that's what Kayamo said.
That's what I'm saying, and that means that the 15% taken was in agreement between Kayamo and members of the National Assembly. Obviously. There was no conflict. So my father told me that if you have conflict, you don't begin to expose yourself for what you have discussed in secret. It shows childishness. It shows prematurity. Because if you have 15%, you had a meeting, and then you have weighed all scientific considerations, and you say, look, we are giving you 15%. At that time, you never considered resigning. And now you have given members of the National Assembly. That will not make members of the National Assembly not to do what they are supposed to do when they need to do it.
Indeed.
By ensuring that there is harmony in the first place. How can a Director General within the ministry begin to say, look, it does not understand that except you invite the minister, he has a better explanation? It means that he has perceived some level of conflict between him and the minister, or things are not going properly within that place. And then they need a higher body to regulate that. I think that the Minister for State,
for Labour,
a very learned senior, should think twice and then harmonize his relationship with members of the National Assembly, and then respect the members. I was a legislator. I remember at the time when the chairman came to present the budget, and because of one issue we raised, he threatened working out. I was the one who told him that if you walk out, we'll suspend you. He came back and sat down and then addressed us. It is very painful for members of National Assembly to sit down and somebody is sitting at the table and say, look, we're walking out of you.
As much as I understand what that might come out to look like, but then you also have the same group of people accusing him when you've not ascertained the truth. So then this is what he says. He says, if you have accused me of this already with the cameras, then let's conclude this also in front of them so that I can redeem myself, knowing fully well that with that, the media that was there will go off with that part of the story that they know. Why won't you finish up with the media? Since in front of the media, you've accused the man.
That is what I'm saying. When that meeting, you can see the rowdiness in that meeting.
He was rowdy.
Yes, that was what was perceived. And such a situation may not be peaceful with the media. I'm not speaking for I don't know why I was not in that meeting, but that's my perception. And usually, even when you attend meetings and become unnecessarily rowdy, you will excuse certain persons to see how peace can reign. Now, as a minister, whatever that has transpired there, you have the opportunity to address the press and clarify issues at any point in time. When you finish with members of the National Assembly, first and foremost, you must have decorum, you must have respect. No matter who highly placed, the president cannot do this. The president cannot come to National Assembly and begin to hit table and say, look, if you don't do this, I walk out. I'm telling you, as guided by the rules of that place, you know that nobody claps for the president when he's making a speech in the National Assembly. It's a hallowed chamber. So, by extension, the committee is hallowed and must be respected by all those who have stepped into that.
But do we get the point where because you are respected members of the hallowed chamber, that your actions too must also be in a respectable manner, that you don't throw caution to the winds because you feel that you demand of a certain respect?
No, respect is reciprocal.
Thank you very much.
I cannot say because
from that meeting and the interaction, they were questioning him. And now those questioning deserve the answers before that rowdiness came. Now, having not answered those things, and there was already noise and rowdiness in the area, and the people present and said, look, we will advise that members of the media should excuse us. So let's see how we can handle ourselves. And now you are saying, no, they must be here. Even if you intend to do so, you need a language that will be subtle in nature to address those who invited you to a meeting. You didn't convene that meeting, and those you are answerable to. Is answerable to them. They are not answerable to him.
Indeed.
Yes, and he needs to show that honor and respect. Now, if you make that all those things, you can say, look, gentlemen, if the media won't be here, will you kindly allow me to go? It's not by hitting the table and saying, look, I walk out.
No, the hitting of the table was before that time.
Fine.
The hitting of the table
now,
was before that.
He
was doing the arguments back and forth that he was hitting the table and trying to explain. And the hitting of the table was not even from Keyamu's side. A few members of the chamber too were also rowdy and hitting tables. If you're going to look at that video critically.
That was very wrong. And now, again, when you now begin to say, look, you will not sit back and watch members of the National Assembly to take over the responsibility of the executive, you are just instigating conflict unnecessarily, because there's no step taken here to take over the functions of the president. Right. The people are saying, look, what are you doing in your ministry? We have invited the Director General of a National Assembly, and yes, he is saying, look, you are the one who call you, which is not so. If the man has given them appropriate answers, we don't even invite him. That means there is something happening, which they now desire to understand. The issue of a 15% and whatever had already been settled. They are not asking for any other thing. But they are saying, look, if the man who is doing this, 52 billion is not a chicken change. And the man is saying, look, we don't know what is happening unless you call this. And then we are calling you for explanation. How does that amount to taking over the responsibility of the president?
Okay.
So begin to insinuate that means inviting sentiment and then inciting the president.
I was trying to play the video itself so we can get a little bit, understanding of this. When we come back, we'll do just that.
We've not exhausted this.
The news update is next.
Never been this good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM.
Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. News update.
Hello and good morning. Here's the news update on Today 95.1 FM. I am Annie Abdul Salam. River State Governor Nyesom Wike has attributed his urban renewal success to the financial prudence. The governor also noted that the 10 hectares of dredged land located opposite the NLNG office will be developed to further enhance the beauty of Port Harcourt under the urban renewal program. The governor spoke with newsmen after an inspection of ongoing shore protection work at the Sandfield land, noting that it was interesting to have recovered the land that once served as a hideout for criminals. He said although decision has not been taken on what activity to approve on the land, a contractor has been asked to start the provision of infrastructures that can serve for residential or commercial purposes. The number of active cases of COVID-19 in Rivers State has reduced to 394. Consequently, the number of discharged cases of the virus in the state has risen to 622. This is as the state has not recorded any case of the infection for the second day in a row. So far, the death toll due to the virus has remained at 38. The Academic Staff Union of Universities is calling on the federal government to set aside the COVID-19 emergency funds to help some state government prepare ahead of the safe reopening of schools. The president of ASU, Professor Biodo Ogunyemi, made the call at a television program monitored from Port Harcourt. The ASU president said it was not enough for the federal government to advise the states to ensure that measures are put in place before schools are reopened in their states. He said effort must be made to ensure that the states carry out the directive of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19. And on the foreign scene, dozens of people have been arrested in Hong Kong, including a man carrying a pro-independent flag after a new anti-protest law imposed by Beijing came into effect. Police have used pepper spray to disperse some protesters gathered to mark 23 years since British rule ended. The national security law targets secession, subversion, and terrorism with punishment up to life in prison. Critics say it stops some freedoms meant to be guaranteed by China. And that was the news update on Today 95.1 FM. Do not forget, take responsibility. Wash your hands frequently with soap and the running water. Avoid touching your face in high contact surfaces to prevent coronavirus. I am Annie Abdul Salam. Do have a good morning.
Has never been this good. Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today 95.1 FM, the voice of the people. Radio has never been this good. Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Please listen to this announcement. Norland, an American company with branches in Nigeria, is open for massive health and wealth empowerment opportunities. Bonus is paid weekly. You can earn up to 80,000 naira weekly. Empowerment is open for all that can read and write. If you're interested, send yes to 0815 776 4899. Again, 0815 776 4899.
Officer, take. Officer, give me number. No time. Ma, they match am. They go.
What? You bribing the officer of the law? You under arrest. Let me see your papers. You can go. They're in order. Drive safe, okay?
I don't understand though. No be the same country again. Officer reject bribe. They arrest me yesterday. That yesterday, I go do my papers. See as I pass now. I pass without fear. You too, make you do it they right. For we country to better, it is for we hand. If you like, do like say you know hear am. To give or to take bribe, now offense.
Una don't hear am, abi? You hear am too, abi? You hear am. You hear am well. They themselves, they hear am. Now the voice of the people. Now him bring this message give una. Today 95.1 FM. Now we be the voice of the people.
Are you ready? Today 95.1 FM, the voice of the people. This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people.
Right, it's 6 minutes after 10. And for the next 5 minutes, I'll be speaking to a really special somebody. We have had cause to interact by the show. He's called in several times or sent messages. So it's a wonderful surprise. I saw him this morning here. So I'll be speaking to him for the next 5 minutes. He's here to do a special presentation for somebody really special too. So I know him as Voice of Democracy. I mean, that's how you usually will call into the station as Voice of Democracy. But we might really need to have your real name this time around.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. And I'm also honored to be here.
All right.
Yeah, I'm Mr. Chogi Baranedum, popularly, known on air, my media name,
True,
the Voice of Democracy.
Voice of Democracy.
Yeah.
Great to see you.
Yeah, and I do a show on 99.1 Radio Rivers every Monday with Toku Mike.
Oh, okay, great.
I've been a guest on that show
great,
for the past 5 or 6 years ago.
Amazing.
So I'm a friend to the media anyway.
Yes, you are. So, what particularly are you here for today?
Okay, I'm here to present a poem to honor, Honorable Dr. Dawari, Ibietela George.
Okay,
so
go ahead.
Yeah. A poem written by Mr. Togi Baranedum Cyril, the Voice of Democracy, to mark the 50th birthday of a legend Rivers State son, Honorable Dr. Ibietela George, a former Commissioner of Energy, Rivers State, a former member, House of Representatives, President, All Africa Baptist Men's Fellowship, today, July 1st, 2020. The poem is titled, Echoes of Days. Echoes of days, beauties of the day, while I wake, I hail, where my breath I inhale, echoes of days, beauties of the day, talks of a tale, not found in a pail, all in my taste, not is a pain, echoes of days, holder of my greens, light on the top, no insight to touch, light from the sky, yet shines the dark, ancient of days, your ways many disembark, a diamond path, a dotless pack, ants have taken to rain, a stretch to the creeks, a trek to the riverine, so much to eat, so much of ease, where can I be, where life is free, Dawari brings the tea, on his knees with peace, on his mind is divine, on his plan is to serve, echoes of days, how I want to be, how I want to be, how I want to be.
Beautiful. Lovely.
And I've been a poet. I think I've also published a work.
All right.
Yeah.
So, what inspired you to write this for this amazing man?
Yeah, it's like a living example, to, a leader. And looking at what God has done, the poem tries to look at the beauties of God, as radiated in the things of nature. You can see the moon, the sun, the resources of the rivers. That is why I pointed out where he is coming from, in the from the riverine. So much rich resources, from the river. So all these things radiate, the beauties of God. So man was supposed to also radiate, the beauties of God. So I've seen, Honorable Dr. Dawari Ibietela George as an example in terms of, his humility. His humility, his service, his service, when he, has been a public servant, has been a political leader, he served creditably, So, if you can have people of value this way, and from his background, his father's, Reverend CTT George was a renowned Baptist pastor and a former principal of a Baptist, high school in Port Harcourt, though late, but he laid a very good family, tutelage for them, and it's a living example. So, the doctoration of value in society, the poem is calling for people to emulate God, show light, because in the poem you have light from the sky, yes, shines the dark. About 80% of people in society, they are not really radiating the things of God. Look at the problems surrounding us. Look at even the pandemic, all these other things, and the decay in moral, values and all that. So, the poem is pointing out if we can appreciate God, because we don't need to beg people to know God. If we can appreciate God, the desire we see in society, the misdemeanor we see in society today, will be a thing,
because the light will shine through.
Because the shine, because God has given us all these things, all this charisma. So we are here representing God to, radiate these things, and society will be a very good place to be.
It's a wonderful way to celebrate the man. Rather remarkable that you wrote such a sterling poem for him to mark his 50th birthday.
Which is today.
For 50 years, he has been impacting greatly in the lives of the people around him and at large. But for people who are interested, because I like what you did, and if I think that I need you to write a poem for me or anything like spoken words, for any other occasion whatsoever, how can I contact you?
Annie, I've been following your program every day. And I know, people talk about government. Something inside of you, like this is, I'm calling on government. Let them develop what is inside of somebody.
Yeah.
I read accounting and finance and banking from the University of Port Harcourt. But I've discovered that I was good in English. So I'm doing poem now. So I can even convert it to music. I put it into music.
Okay.
And you see, I call some good musicians. They can do it.
Yeah.
I will bring some of the collections for you.
All right.
Find music. And you on that can sustain you. Look at people like Michael Jackson. Look at some other persons abroad. They don't depend even on government, but
how
if they have, they can bring it.
How can I contact you? So we're ready to wrap up.
Okay. On my number is 080-326-11503. 08 you in River State.
Thank you.
I want to also appreciate River State people. Let us protect you because you're an asset to us.
Thank you so much for coming into the studio this morning. All right, this is where we have to finish up on that segment. To stay here with us, Opinion Pool continues in just a moment.
Are you ready?
Today's quest. All the news and information you need in one go. Get started with the best of sports, lifestyle, analysis, and Annie.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
Can you feel it? Wake up to Today's Quest with Annie on Today 95.1 FM from 6 to 11 a.m. weekdays.
Opinion Poll on Today's Quest.
More than 3 over 4 of the loots we're talking about in this country today were loots within the 16 years.
Here is a great opportunity to sample all our opinions on the issues raised.
In Port Harcourt says the PDP is trying to divert our attention because Nigerian funds was looted by the people. Melody in Uniport says Madam Jonah is yet to come in terms of the fact that her tenure has expired. Annie, please tell him that investigation is not what you make public until the final stage.
Send your opinion to us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Today95.1fm, or on Twitter @TodayFM951. You can also sample your opinions with us on WhatsApp or on our SMS portal using the numbers 070-1933-9962. Opinion Poll on Today's Quest.
More than 3 over 4 of the loots we're talking about in this country today were loots within the 16 years.
Here is a great opportunity to sample all our opinions on the issues raised.
In Port Harcourt says the PDP is trying to divert our attention because Nigerian funds was looted by the people. Melody in Uniport says Madam Jonah is yet to come in terms of the fact that her tenure has expired. Annie, please tell him that investigation is not what you make public until the final stage.
Send your opinion to us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Today95.1fm, or on Twitter @TodayFM951. You can also sample your opinions with us on WhatsApp or on our SMS portal using the numbers 070-1933-9962. Right, 15 minutes has gone past 10 and you're still listening to Today 95.1 FM. All right, good. So we want to quickly get back to the issue that we had ongoing before the break. And I did promise I was going to have to play the video to give us some background. But while I'm trying to sort that out, I think Emmanuel Ndukwe, you were about to say something then at that point. This will be the great time to have you. This would be a great time to have you say something, and I'll get back to the video in just a bit.
Well, what I wanted to say, which I'm saying now, is that Daniel was describing the way Okonjo-Iweala, Arumote, plus others. It's not only these that have quietly, diplomatically responded to maybe hot situations and left. But what I wanted to tell him then was that, you see, humans don't respond in similar fashions. I particularly watched Gani Fawemi when he was alive in court. If you see the way he speaks and all that, you will say he's very arrogant and all that. No. In that his speech, he doesn't use any foul language to say that he's insulted anybody. But that's how his own spirit is. Now that Keyamo decided to be high tone, I ask a simple question. Did he maybe slap anybody? Did he also use any language that says, looks like maybe he denigrated any of the members? No, for me, because so far, except the ones that didn't tell us. Now, he also decided to say, I will walk out of this place. Yes, where you can't cut into what people are advancing to you as ideas. And it was even the respect that made him to say, I will walk out. Because he can also walk out because he can't continue with that kind of situation. Yes, the only thing you will tell me is that if I were in his shoes, and that's the difference, because variety is the spice of life, I would have quietly now approached any of them and said, these things, they are going in the way I don't accept again. So I won't have you people be doing in this way. But then, this is Keyamo and this is Emmanuel.
Okay, all right. That's why we're judging Keyamo now. All right. Okay, let's listen. I'll get to you fine first. Let me see if I can. There are two videos. I'll run this one. They're just short snippets. Might just give us a background of what was going on then.
This is not a place to grandstand. This is not a place to grandstand. We are doing serious business. They are not exceptional. We have many ministers who say.
Now, the voices of the people you heard was not even that of Keyamo. This was coming from the members of the committee. So I guess at that time things had escalated. So everybody was throwing everything into the works now, and it was if you see the full length of it, it was a really rowdy situation. At least from the parts that the media is putting out, it was really a rowdy situation. Whether at that point Keyamo felt it was necessary to grandstand, because they said this is not a grandstanding issue, and say, look, unless the media stays here, I wouldn't have any more of this, or he should have been diplomatic, like the likes of. Daniel Momo. What did you say, Daniel Momo? Like the likes are the ones that Daniel Momo had reeled out earlier. Emmanuel just said something. He says everybody has their pattern and their ways of doing things. But I also think that once you become a public officer, that you also understand certain things.
Yeah.
Keyamo felt like, for me, he felt like he thought this was still a courtroom. And it's not a courtroom now. It's very different. I understand that he felt that I've been, accused in front of the cameras, and I must insist things must be done in this manner.
Yes.
But there's an approach you could have in the courtroom that would make sense, and there's another you'll have in the hallowed chambers now that a lot of people will question, like we have Daniel and Honorable Okere questioning.
Yeah, actually not a courtroom, but there is similarity between the courtroom and where they were seated yesterday. The courtroom has gavel, and the
and the
National House also has a gavel, so they were practicing that. So I think in a way, I don't know how provoked he was to an extent that he had to hit his hand on the table. That was wrong from my own perspective. That was practically wrong, because I can't invite you to a public venue to talk in a hallowed chamber and that happened, but that is left for him to defend in the days to come. But there is something fundamentally wrong with the way the lawmakers were going about it, because to an extent they were only there to seek some personal interest. Now, they were pushing home their 15%. And 15%, like we have established here, is 116,100 jobs they were going to take away from the 774,000 jobs across the country. And when you see in the House of Reps, you have 469 persons who are going to share this 15%. That is to say, each of the lawmakers will take home 248 slots of this number. And they are not just coming.
Is that the 15%?
Yeah, 15% is the 116,100. So when you divide among the 469 of them, you have 248 per slots. Each of them we take. Now these are just the lawmakers. The ministers from the various states will want to have slots. The House of Assemblies in the various states will want to have slots. The governors in the various states will want to have slots. So before you know, they have shared everything. And when they have this slot, they will look at, hey, you that have been disturbing me since, come and pick this. Before you know, the people that the president targets to benefit from this, which was the poorest of the poor, according to the language used in palliative, will not get it. So I think this is the time for young Nigerians that I also work with and lead to come out and speak their mind on this issue. That 15% shouldn't be given to them. No politician should hijack this process so that the poorest of the poor in our communities can benefit. There are young men who haven't had university graduate that are not taking home 20,000 per month for years now. They are on the streets. So I think we must do all that we can to make sure that this thing trickle down to the ordinary Nigerians. So basically, what has happened there will be revisited, I know. And it should be revisited in the ways that it will benefit ordinary Nigerians.
Okay, put your thoughts in.
Let me just say something to the 15% is not in question. It's not for debate. He only raised that to say they have gotten their share. I think the 15% here is not what the problem is here. And then from what Mr. Emma said, in my place there's a proverb that says you eat the yam because of the oil, or you either take the oil because of the yam.
Obasanjo said it.
Who said it?
Obasanjo.
It's a Yoruba proverb. See, Annie, they are called honorable minister. Let's even assume that the members of the parliament insulted him personally now.
Distinguished, insulting honorable.
No, I'm coming. Let's even assume that he was insulted. He's an honorable member. He's an honorable.
He was doing dishonorable things.
Please. Annie.
Sir.
I just said a proverb to say that. See.
Okay.
If you had gone there for the sake of the poor, for the sake of the fact that you want this thing to trickle down, that's why I use the word. If you don't take certain things because of this, you will either take this because of that.
All right.
For the same people who felt that they should get that job, he should have submitted himself to the process and explained it in detail. If the director there cannot do that, you see, Annie, there is something there in that this thing that happened yesterday. What the lawmaker did, I think it is clear, and Kiyamu cannot disobey that. What was issued there yesterday was a directive by the members to say that the media should leave. It is not an opinion for Kiyamu to debate on whether they must stay or they should not stay. It was a directive, and it is in their office. They were the one who invited you. If you are not pleased with it, kindly just take your books and walk out. You don't create a scene. At the end of the day, the things you've gone there to do was not even achieved at the end of the day. So we are neither here nor there to even know what the truth is. If this is what you have said, can we also hear from the lawmakers to tell you what they also feel about the whole thing? How people, the director said it yesterday, that the composition of some members on the committee of various states were done by the minister. Can he explain to the world how he came about those names on those committees in each state of the federation? So this is the point for me, and I think that
that's what I'm saying. I wish that both sides were not throwing daggers at each other. Simple. And we got to the nitty-gritty of the issue. If their problem was with the constitution of the subcommittees in the 36 states, it would have been an exciting thing to be discussing now. Yes, but both sides didn't even allow that to be.
Sorry, at yesterday's meeting, who was the boss?
That's what I'm saying. But if you're the boss and you're not allowing the processes to go through, it doesn't mean I'm just going to lie down there and you walk all over me.
The boss for yesterday was the man who invited you to come.
I agree with you. I'm with you on that totally. But I'm saying that as the boss, does that mean that you will not be civil because you're the boss?
No, what they did yesterday for me too
was
not
civil.
something. No, it's not something I am proud of to take home to tell anybody about. But I'm saying that Keyamo has gone there to also throw light on certain things. He would have done that and still come out to address the press on the allegations that was made against him.
All right.
Daniel, Annie, see,
I don't
the
know if,
guilty can also assert his dignity. The guilty. You don't tell me because you are my boss and then you will now want to sit on my neck. I won't talk.
No, nobody was on his neck.
No, I'm giving a prophet.
Yes, yeah. The issue is that I perceive that as show of arrogance. I have said so. If I invite you to an office, he was in their office, and then they regulate him. The law empowers them to do checks and balances. And then if in the way they were going was not healthy for him, there are various ways of handling that. But you don't just come and begin to address people that you walk out of this office, you walk out of this place, except you do this. Now, if for any reason the things that had happened in the presence of the media, you didn't like them, they are now saying, look, we can't continue like this. Let the media give us audience. Let's discuss. So that if we quarrel and fight, at least it is within us. Now, if after the meeting and you feel that you have been vilified, what do? When you go out, you say, look, this is a true position. And then Nigerians will still hear it. You explain yourself. You know?
How has that helped in so many times? How has that helped?
What have they achieved now?
That's what we're saying. Both sides haven't allowed things to be
to
be properly addressed.
Yes, and now my worry is the second angle to it. When he was addressing the president, he's saying he won't allow anybody to take over the functions of the president. How is that amounting to taking over the functions of the president? If they are saying, look, explain to us. If, in fact, supposing things were properly done and then there was a scientific methodology in handling these issues, with the director, the DG of a National Director of Employment come and say, look, I don't know what is happening. I don't have details. Most of the things happening, I do not know. Now, that first and foremost, within the purview of NDLE, National Director of NDE, under the supervision of the minister. Now, the minister, if you live above board, all you need to do, well, have you done this? Have you done this? Look, I want this to happen this way. You cannot be a participant, an active participant. The man whose office is saddled with that responsibility should be allowed to handle that job, and then you do the supervision. But if the man is saying, look, I don't know what is happening, no, it means something is fishy.
What the man did say was, he said he knows about the 8 members of a committee, and it was a 20-member committee. So he said, well, he knows about 8, and he doesn't know about the other one that was constituted. Already there was a list that was published about the subcommittees, and that came through the office of the NDE. So I don't know if for the ones for the 36, they're saying they don't know, because I saw the list, it came through their office, not from Keyamo. So if on the initial committee itself, the one that he says he knows only 8, the 20-member committee that is supposed to oversee the entire process, he says he knows of 8. Well, maybe they should ask Keyamo where 12 came, where the other 12 came from, and how the process for that 12 came about if the NDE was not involved.
Exactly. Now, if that process was pure, if that process was intended with a natural justice, equity, and good conscience, the man who is speaking like that, he's not giving full details. Remember, he's under Keyamo.
Yes.
He's speaking, if he could voice out this, it means that there is much which the man has refused to say. There's much because you should understand.
I think he's afraid.
That's what I'm saying it with the all amount of surety. Because for you to have said this means you have suffered a whole lot of underestimation and the rest of them.
That's not true now.
You know that the members of the panel or the committee allege that Keyamo has hijacked that. And that's why also Keyamo now came out and then blew the 15% and all that, when we are saying that you don't reveal secrets at the time of a problem.
They are supervising him, and then that hijack they have said was precipitated upon the evidence of the DG. You understand what I'm saying? Now, if they have said, look, if they say they have hijacked, it is not incumbent upon him to explain. I understand this worry. I know his worry. His worry that he perceives himself as a man of honesty and a man of integrity. That if this is done, are you not damaging my integrity? But most of the times, you allow things flow. If they have made
let your integrity be damaged.
There's not damaging. Nobody damaging integrity. If they say you have hijacked, I didn't hijack, you have time to explain. and you must give detailed explanation much
So
later.
explain in the same camera now that you said
That
that.
is it, because if he had gone outside to explain to the press outside, they won't give it attention as much as they want this press.
And
to
when the heat was increasing, every other person, the right thing to do is to say, okay, look, members of the press, perhaps give us audience first. That's the right thing.
Why? Why?
At the beginning, when you were starting, you may not expect that there will be crashes when the press had gathered. So for you to ameliorate the dangers and damage that this could cause to the general public, all you need to do is look. Thank you, gentlemen. Give us audience. Let's see how we can tackle our issues. Yeah. Now, but the man is saying, look, say everything, even if they want to fight, let the press cover it. When I have
but even the fight in the National Assembly is covered by the press. They want to beat themselves.
We're taking a break. The news, I've said the news, real talk will be coming up on Twitter. I just hope, my fear is that they allow this linger for too long. It's important to understand what's going on.
Who is suffering now? The masses. The employment.
Kiamo has said that it will continue regardless. So I guess, yes, the people will still get it. But I will hate that there's something that Kiamo is doing at the back and that we're unable to expose that. So it's important that they have this meeting as quickly as possible and the spotlight is placed exactly where it needs to. What is also important and imperative as far as I'm concerned is addressing the need for lawmakers to partake of this by having 15%. If 774,000 people were what was supposed to be budgeted for, and there is a committee that was supposed to do that, I don't see how that should involve the senators. I don't see how that I don't see how that is lobbying.
No, I've seen, it's not lobbying. That's what nobody's there. It was done. I've given this breakdown. Assuming they have 116,100 divided by 469 members. About a member will be getting about 200
plus.
Now, if the man representing the chair, Mama Federal constituency, comes home and then has 250 members,
he will take off of that
to nominate. What has he gotten much? Is he going to nominate it from the blues? He's sitting back. Divide 250 by 29 wards. It's pretty less than 8 or about that. What the man is saying, look, allow me have an input. You will come home.
But why must you have an input in that area? Why
this
must
guy
you?
Will not going to have input. Those DG.
You are supposed to be there and be a lawmaker. That is your work. Help us with laws.
Representing some people.
Oversight. Represent us with oversight. Make sure that they got the 1,000 people if you need to. But don't come and tell me I have A, B, C, D, 8 people from here.
These names are they not going to submit it to? Will there anywhere you do this thing that the persons wouldn't nominate?
That's what I'm saying, yes.
People must write these names.
Must it be the National Assembly members?
They're asking that allow us have a feeling.
Don't have a feeling here.
So that we can nominate those who also...
you now feel white paper fled there. You are saying Kiamo not going to have, and Kiamo is not charging them to be looking for more.
Maybe Kiamo has his own 500.
If DG is complaining, more than that now, if DG is complaining, what do you think is happening
DG only complain about the...
That is what I spoken out loud.
The whole thing brings Christian Giga into the picture.
Of course.
Let him come. Because in the end, Kiamo may not even know more.
But wait, hold on. Kiamo said the president did say he should pretend.
Yes.
So he didn't say the Ministry
and that
of
lays
Labor.
it on the ministry.
The minister.
That's what I'm saying.
The minister and the minister delegated him.
No.
But it's
Kiamo particularly said, remember when we were talking about it yesterday? I said, is he referencing Ngige on this? He says, this is what
that's true. That's true.
He said the president asked him particularly to superintend over this.
Yes.
And that nobody, he mentioned, he said nobody.
Yes.
He's not answerable to anybody.
Is that proper?
He said so.
Is it proper?
Except the president.
Is that proper?
But he's not answerable to anybody except the president.
The president is answerable to people.
That's what I'm saying. But if the president also said, go and do this,
it's clear now.
and he now says, well, in doing this, I'm answerable to the president who sent me.
Yes. And now when you are doing what is not proper, or what is perceived not to be proper, those who are okay, they are not saying, look, we are not concerned with the supervision.
No, I'm not talking about this.
No, there's a presumption. Yes. There's a presumption that things going well. Because even the legislators will not come and start doing it back.
Let him go home and resolve the conflict between him and NDE DG. If that is resolved, all these National Assembly members will be buried. Let him go home. It means that he has carried this high-handedness and this arrogance to which he is fitted here in the ministry. You should allow people. This is the problem Oshomole face too. If I go there, look, let me tell you.
Go there.
Go back there, resolve the issues.
No,
settle with
you
people
have an
within
opposition
the distance. No, and not when you assume that you know everything, only you handle this. You don't care. What is the end point? The end point is that you damage that thing.
But you know why again when things like this come up and I hear National Assembly's involvement one way or the other, I'm also very careful where to lay blame. It's because I have known the National Assembly several times to also just look for a quick way to enrich themselves.
Definitely, if they are not benefiting, they will begin to.
If they're not benefiting, they will.
I tell you,
people are not benefiting.
If they are not benefiting, they don't care about them. If they are not benefiting,
so that thing just recently.
You know how? Hold on. You know the possibility. Even though they said that the CBN is going to pay directly, that's what they said. CBN will pay directly to the people who will be involved. Imagine how someone might want to corner this, and instead of giving 200 people, instead of giving 200 people, he gives all that to himself.
How?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know how he's going to do that. I'm meaning maybe he just gets 20 phantom names or who have 20 accounts.
And send BVN
and maybe. And the people are sending 20,000 and he's imagine 200 times 20,000 per month.
No, that is where Kayamo would have shown this uprightness. Look, these numbers we are giving you. I want to ensure that the people you are sending to me are fiscal verifiable.
That is why the committee should ensure.
Wouldn't they invite them?
The committee should have done everything.
They'll still forward this to the ministry for
the committees are the ones. The committees are the ones in charge. Once the committees have done that, they'll send it to the 20-man committee who will gratify, and that's the end of it.
Including the
legislators.
No, the legislators will not have any business anymore from there.
No, the names the legislature will produce will still go back to.
I agree. Yes, the names the legislators will go through that process. But I'm saying, why even bother with doing that? Why don't you sit down there and
it's the Nigerian factor. That is what I'm saying.
Let's stop allowing it. Let's stop allowing it.
Because even within the ministry there, the crisis is already existing, meaning that the method of sharing that is already bringing antithesis among the various officers.
Well, the only thing about it that makes me happy is that CBN says they're paying directly to the people.
Yes.
So nobody's getting any money bulk anywhere to further go and distribute.
Recently, something happened. There was money. Names they collected, members of the National Assembly collected persons. They took those names without knowing the amount the CBN was paying. Unfortunately for them, they were paying close to 500,000. So some of them got shocked and said, "Is it what the CBN was paying?" So now, if they had known, they thought it was 10,000, 20,000. So even those who nominated were complaining and said, "Look, if we had known, how could we have gone to give it to people
to get 500,000?"
Somebody is being paid 500,000 naira by mere writing your name. So Nigeria should progress and move beyond some of these local considerations and allow the poor to get what they're supposed to get.
I agree with you on that. I agree with
but
you.
But don't just come and make people realize that your approach is the best, or you are stronger, or you are better than any person.
Okay, all right. We've got to take this break. The news. Real Talk comes up next. I keep saying that Real Talk comes up next.
Radio has never been this good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
Real talk. Real talk.
But
it is we that is supposed to push the followers. Today, 95.1 FM, we bring you insights, intrigues, and happenings on the local politics of the Niger Delta.
But if that property you have somewhere worth that 1 billion is tied to a fraud of state money, if you can prove it's your personal money, you didn't commit any crime.
Join us every weekday, 9:45 a.m. to 11 a.m. Real talk. Keeping it real.
Lucrative side for anybody who want to mix development. So we're happy they are now doing the what we call the those of you who are from, what do you call it, the very protected, the shore protection have been done, or it is going on. And then we went to Aba Road. The property that I saw have been abandoned for over 20 years. And see what we're doing now to bring it back to what it's supposed to be. And then we've come to the new GRA to make sure that the roads are completed as promised to us by the contractor, Jonas Berger. And you can see that the Port Harcourt has turned. It's the urban renewal is a great achievement. It's a great success as far as we're concerned. So many people are asking us where are you getting money when people are talking about COVID. What is important to us is management. Once you know how to manage the resources you have, then you will not have problems. Like I said, COVID has come, and whether we like it or not, work must continue. And that is what we're doing. We were quite impressed with the reaction from the people that they can't believe that this one state, that we are talking about projects virtually every day, in spite of the fact of the COVID pandemic. So we are quite happy. We are quite happy what we are doing. And it's an everyday event. Tomorrow we'll be going to Rumola flyover with Jonas Berger to look at the expansion, and then also go to the Rumongba flyover to see how far they have gone. We have seen the Rebisu flyover. We are quite happy with the extent of work done. So tomorrow we are going to go to the Rumola flyover, look at what they talk about at the expansion, and move down to the Rumongba flyover to see how far they have gone, whether they are going to meet up to the promises they've made. But we are quite happy.
All right, we just listened to the River State Governor Wike, who has attributed his urban renewal success to financial prudence. The governor also noted that the 10 hectares of dredged land located opposite the NLNG office will be developed to further enhance the beauty of Port Harcourt under the Urban Renewal Program. The governor spoke with newsmen after an inspection of ongoing shore protection work at the Sandfield land, noting that it was interesting to have recovered the land that once served as a hideout for criminals. He said, although decision has been taken on what activity to approve on the land, decision has not been taken on what activity to approve on the land, a contractor has been asked to start the provision of infrastructures that can serve for residential or commercial purposes. All right, so this is what we'll be looking at for Real Talk. The governor says, look, I've been very prudent, and that's why you can see success here as concerns our urban renewal projects. He particularly said that they were so effective that they were churning out projects almost every day. He also did mention the fact that at the recovered dredged land opposite NLNG, they're not sure what they want to do there, but a contractor has been hired to come up with prospective programs or prospective projects that can be effected on that lot of land for commercial purposes or residential. In all of this, I heard somebody earlier when we're talking about this mention the fact that it would be nice if there was a budget to run along this, if there was an idea where we're going to, or a document that can abreast the rest of River State with what's going on and what is going into what, and then we can understand whether there has been prudence or not. Manuel.
Annie, I am completely handicapped since this is, I'm telling you, since this is predicated on prudence. I don't know how I can assess River State government on that, because I personally have tried to get the budget. No, I have not. Maybe others have, and I have not got it.
There's nobody that has here.
If there is absolutely no budget, on what grounds? On what, even if you call it high ground, where will you stand to measure the prudence? So for me, it's just a matter of the projects. Yes, at least I'm seeing some of them within Obiakpo and Port Harcourt. I'm seeing a lot that he's doing, but whether he's managing the finances of River State prudently or not, himself knows that Emmanuel Ndukwe cannot say that, because where is the guide? Which of course the budget would have served.
5 years in a minute. Emmanuel was rather straight to the answer.
It seems I will be doing the part of Emmanuel. because we in the civil
We're
society.
supposed to have the conversation. Don't worry about please.
We in the civil society, we do what we call budget monitoring. And in budget monitoring, we take the budget passed by each state of assembly, and then we look at what the government have said they were going to do, how they were going to do it, where they were going to do it, and how much each of those projects will cost. And then we monitor to ensuring that, that is done. Citizen budget monitoring is something we've been doing over the years, but that of Rivers State has never been possible because we cannot say we have seen copies of the Rivers State appropriation law. We haven't for a very long time. And transparency and prudency in the management of project, he has scored himself now very high by what he has said, but we cannot score him high because we don't see anything to lay hands on to be able to see whether he has prudently managed those things well. Now, every state is supposed to have their budgets uploaded onto their website and made available to those who want them, citizens who will now look at it, so that when a law is an appropriation bill is passed into law and he signs it, sections of the society of the state that have opportunity and wish to monitor will now go and photocopy those projects that the government have said they will do in their area, and then monitor through the ministries to see that those projects are done and done to the best quality. But since we've not had that kind of system in place in Rivers, it became a problem. You remember some 2 months ago or thereabout, about 100 and something million US dollars was given by the World Bank to certain state governments in Nigeria who have been making their budget documents available, showing transparency and accountability in the appropriation and management of funds. They share those millions of dollars free of charge to a lot of states in Nigeria. Rivers State never benefited because copies of the Rivers State budget is not there. A lot of people at the time were saying that they have brought this one, they have shared it. They didn't remember Rivers State the same way they never remember Rivers State during the COVID-19 palliative from the federal government. But we let them understand that we have come to the state government, we have put it out there for them that there is this free money somewhere. The only thing you need to get those millions and billions of naira as a state government is to make your budget available where citizens can access it and then monitor to ensure that you are doing things well. But that of Rivers State has never been so. So we think that the governor should not have premised his achievement so far on the fact that he has managed the resources prudently, because there are those who will actually want to check in to see that the resources of Rivers State are managed prudently. Remember, the Rivers State government is also having running issue with the EFCC over the withdrawal of billions of naira over the counter. So it is also an issue. And the government is saying that, look, you cannot investigate us because there is a blanket judgment that prevents you from our investigation. Those things are somewhere. So in as much as we still have some of these challenges surrounding the expenditures of Rivers State government, we cannot say he has managed the money prudently. Remember that just 2 weeks or last week, he approved the construction of a new flyover. Before he conceived the construction of that new flyover, the appropriation law of Rivers State for 2020 was already signed into law. That is to say, the construction of the GRA flyover he has awarded and the expansion of that of Rumuala are not captured in the budget of the state. So how do we know whether you've actually been prudent in some of these things? So we believe that even the 2 billion that was initially announced as initial fund for the COVID-19 state task force for palliative, it was not also captured in the budget. Also because before the pandemic came and we got to where we got to, that wasn't the law for 2020 was already passed and signed. And then we never also heard from the state government, I stand to be corrected, that a bill was sent, supplementary budget was sent to the assembly to get these things done. So the entire financial management process of Rivers State has been shrouded in secrecy, lack of transparency and accountability. So we cannot outrightly say that the achievement of the governor is because he has managed the resources well. I think what has enhanced his management and effective management of this process is that he has had enough money, so much money that other states could not get, especially with the refund of the over 78.9 billion naira to the state.
But that just came now.
No. That just came, yeah.
It has nothing
it just came. It has to do because...
It has nothing to do with his prudence.
No. Why it may not have much to do with what we have on ground now is that, remember that as a state government, you can source for funds from banks to do certain projects with the approval of the state assembly, and then you pay from the allocation that is coming from a federation account and what to generate from the internally generated revenue. Let's say that what he has been doing before now has some funds raised from the system to support them. When these funds come, he may want to use part of that to pay. That is why if you read the statement he made to the president, he said, come to Rivers State and see what we are doing with the money. He is now attributing some of the things he has done already to the money that just came. So that is why I'm seeing the interwoven of the money he had before, the one that just came, and how he's using it to balance the floor. But I will expect the governor to go beyond the construction of these flyovers and develop new cities in Rivers State. This is the opportunity now for us to, we have had Port Harcourt, the what we call PABOD. PABOD is an acronym for the cities that will be developed in Rivers State outside, Port Harcourt that was already developed. This is the time for us to achieve that. Port Harcourt, which is the P, is already developed. We should have the Ahoda area, which is the A, developed. We should have the Degema area, which is the D, developed. We should have the O, which is the Ogoni area, developed. We should have the Bonny, developed. Then I also add the Che. We should look at the Che area and expand development. We will benefit enough from this process than what we are currently having.
Your thoughts on this? Thank you very much, Daniel Momo.
Yes, let me pick something from what Fine Face said. Edo State is one of the first states in the South to actually upload its budget, courtesy of the government of Oshomole there. That is always there year in, year out. On the issue of
year in, year out.
Yes,
it's okay. Go ahead.
On the issue of Annie, the fact that the works that the governor has been doing for me on this urban renewal, I give it to the governor. Just in December, at least I had a place to go to my family, even though the crowd at
Pleasure Park?
Yes, that's Pleasure Park. The crowd tells me that Port Harcourt needed to be. We got there the first day, we were not able to make it. We had to go back, and then we were able to do that the second day. What it tells me from that is that there are other places, people are trooping in from other places to that place. That by the time you open Port Harcourt, that unnecessary, that crowd that you see, you would have everybody in his locality enjoying some of this work. And now, yes, I enjoyed my visit to that pleasure park. But again, you ask, at what cost was that place built? Because when you talk about transparency, you're actually telling people to question you, to say, these are the books. You can look at them. At what cost did we have some of this beautification around the city of Port Harcourt? At what cost? Nobody. I know that before now, I had seen a lot of people who had requested from the state government to say, we do not have your budget. How then do we even rate you? I cannot rate somebody I don't know. If you are okay, you are planning, for example, you're using 200 million to plan for maybe a chief, for example, and you come to say you have spent 180. I would ask her, let me see the books to say I can relate to the physical thing on the ground and what you have in your books. In that aspect, the River State government for me has not done well. On the issue of, you see, that's a flyover for me. I don't know, but it has been approved. The one at GRA.
Yes.
For me, you are going to let the state government be bold enough to tell the world how much that will cost. Because you have that GRA, you are going to do it at that GRA junction and then expand towards that Momi up to Stadium Road. Those lands there are not something you buy at Omagwa. Those lands will run into millions, and it means that you are going to demolish a chunk of those houses. And remember that to the right, that means you are coming from the GRA junction. To the right is the Mopo headquarters. Yes. That means you are not going to go towards that side. Maybe you'll be looking at towards your left-hand side for the expansion. So at what cost? That is one. Two, what is the traffic that we are collecting within GRA? Because we are coming from Rumola, from another from another flyover to Presidential to GRA Junction, and the other one coming from Genesis. What is the traffic I'm trying to relate to there, that you need a flyover to connect all of those places? I think that money that will be spent to build another flyover here can be moved out of River State
for some other areas in River State that are crying for help, especially road. There are people who are traveling who say they pass through a chain. Said it's horrible. You, how much would it cost you?
All right.
GRA, remember that if you go to GRA, you see that GRA junction towards that Genesis. That road was just dualized. They just finished that road. So why then do you not need another flyover? Remember that the whole of those places you have banks. In those all of those things would have to give way for that bridge to come in. So for me, I still do not agree with that flyover at GRA junction. It's going to cost the River State government more money.
All right, got your thoughts there. And then finally to Honorable Kerry.
I quite agree that there's need to make public the budget of anybody. Because if you have a budget for a particular thing, a period of time, the people should have access to that budget. But at the beginning, the budget is sent to State House of Assembly, which oversees the passage of that budget. And then the various ministries are allocated the funds to be expended. And from there, the knowledge of what is to be expended is made public. But after that, that document needs to be public. But if the governor said, look, I have developed some areas, I liken this to prudent management. One, I'm looking at the rate of income. Apart from we having 78.something billion naira now, at the inception of this government, there was a sharp drop on the revenue generation, and then also a sharp drop on the statutory allocation coming to the state, up to the point that the state governor had to be borrowing money to ensure that certain projects were done. There were some projects that needed to be completed that there was no fund. If you compare this with the past administration, where the crude oil sale was so high, and then there was excess fund, to the point that we were informed that money was being kept monthly for further projects. So you can now see that there was high shortage of funds. From that dimension, if you say, look, we have managed funds properly and then we have done some projects, I will agree with him. But we also need to call on the state governor to ensure that the House of Assembly and even the executive arm of government has made public the budget which they have passed. Now, in some parts of the local government, you need to move away from the state, the over concentration of some certain projects within the state, and move to some local government areas. However, where I come from, the major road which links Igrita to Imo State, running up to Opala, it's not, nobody can pass through there. The governor promised the Abakeche people that road was going to be constructed. But my worry is the development at the national, which is not saying that, because that road is a federal road in the first place. So if the governor has to do it, he has to first and foremost get approval for the federal government. So I don't know, but I want to urge him to also see the need to still embark upon that, even if it means writing letter to the federal government to get that. But there were some roads that were so bad too, in the chair which the governor did as he came in. The Chokocho Osuzu Road was nowhere.
Not terrible.
Yes, nobody could pass through there. In fact, the entire Igrita axis linking the chain, the past administration, all the shout and all the cries, the conflict that existed between the people of that community and the state government could not allow him to do that road. But when this governor came into office, he saw the need and then constructed that road, which made the Che people to be passing. In fact, we were passing through airport. Now, if you move up between the Igbo Junction linking to Igbo, which is also at the Che Road, the deep gutter there made that place completely not unpassable by anybody. And the excuse given then was because the federal government allowed to do it. That was what the former governor was saying. But when this government came in place, whatever they did, they now had to construct that road linking Igbo to Chokocho. And I tell you that eased a lot of tension. So the issue of project within the state is proper, but when that is being done, there's also need to move away from the state and begin to think of how to develop other.
So can we say
yes, other
that
local
yes, we
governments.
agree with him that he's been prudent?
What by his own assessment, he said he has.
Obviously, it's
yes,
not.
yes.
I'm saying the rest of us. Can we say he has been prudent?
For me, he said he's prudent, and then if we assess this based on the budget that has come, I will agree with him as the governor of the state. But the generality of the public may not be able to interpret that properly when you do not access the budget, which everybody...
Have you accessed the budget then?
No, at the beginning of government, budget is sent to the various ministers. And the ministry, the House of Assembly allocates these projects. It is based on that project begins in the first place, because it is what was approved as appropriation bill.
So why is this budget
so, but when you have done this, at the end of this government, before this government runs out, you need to publish. Because it will be highly speculative.
Why is it after the every government I know of have theirs for each year? So it's a working document that can be assessed. There's a site you can go to, or there's a ministry you can go to, and you can have this document. So you understand what governments for that year have their focus on and what they're hoping to use as running costs.
That's what I'm saying.
But you're saying at the end of the tenure, they should be able to make this public.
I said before.
Yes,
the end of the tenure.
What is wrong with doing it each year?
I have condemned that in the first place. I said for people not assessing that budget, because it is the only document that people have. If this budget was passed, it's a document, it's somewhere. Because at the beginning, this was sent to the minister, the House of Assembly, to pass. So what is the difficulty in now making this thing a public document? Because it's already a public document at the point whereby it is passing a process of legislation. The House of Assembly is sitting down to say, look, this you have done, we have proof of don't approve, and they are assented to it. So what is that difficulty, including from the clerk of the House to the executive arm of government, from making people assess it? Because what was passed was seen, and there were processes that was passed. So let the public also have access to it. It is only by just opposing that budget and then the expenditure, because most of the projects being done are also made known. The amount, like the bridges that are being constructed, the governor announces what is being expended. Now, it is not left for us to know if that is in tandem with the budget or not. And then because we can give that overall assessment.
All right, then. Well, that's it. This is it for our opinion poll. We'd like to get your thoughts on that. To send us your thoughts to 07019339962. That's for text messages and WhatsApp platform. 07019339962. And of course, you can also call us 0817-0000-951 or 0810-951. Facebook page is Today 95.1 FM. Like that page, share your thoughts on the newspaper review on Facebook alone. Don't call in on any other issue aside the opinion poll and real talk. If you feel you want to say something as concerns the newspaper review, please go to our Facebook page and do that under the post referring to the newspaper review as of today. All right, so let me take phone calls first. Remember, for opinion poll, we looked at the issue of Kayamo and the legislators over the 774,000 jobs. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
Yeah, I think I'm talking to Annie.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yes, I'm Sunday calling from Okrika.
Good to have you.
Please, one thing I want to say, first of all, we thank God for Buhari giving a state about 78 billion naira. And this money given to us, I think, is for the development of the state. As far as I'm concerned, Okrika is compact, and we don't have land to extend. And all our lands are mangrove forests. Why not use part of this money to feed most part of the mangrove area so that people will expand and live conveniently? Thank you.
All right, then. Got your thoughts on that. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
Good morning, Highness.
Yes, please. What's your name?
Prince, calling from Abuluma.
All right, Prince, go ahead.
We cannot direct the governor what to do with the money.
This is not about the money he just received. We're talking about when he said his urban renewal success is because of his financial prudence. This is what we're looking at.
Yes, it's very, very prudent. Why? Because I know, and when I have some time, it's not only your studio. Some people say that, why flyover? Can you count how many flyover in Lagos State? Lagos fine. This city fine.
Yeah, but I'm sure that the flyovers in Lagos State will be all over Lagos State.
No. What I'm saying is that if you are living in Port Harcourt, you know all these strategic places where you see the new flyover there is a busy and a very jam-packed. Without that flyover, you know now, hold up everywhere. So I don't see any need of criticizing the flyover. Allow the man to do his work. Okay, assuming you want to focus on in the city, Port Harcourt city, as in to beautify everywhere. Any other government come, you can enter inside another a local government, as they said. Remember, Ogoni, Takpawa border. What is the name of this? Takpawa, whatever this thing. The road, that road that should be last administration, last tenure now. It's first tenure, I mean to say. You do the road straight to Bori. You understand? That road is a two-lane road. I never see that kind of project before. Straight to other administration. How many kilometers?
All right, then. So for you, this is what the prudence is about. For you, this is where you're attributing it to prudency because you see these things, and therefore that means he has been prudent.
This is 5 years, madam. This is 5 years. It's not yet 8 years.
All right, then.
So
thank you very much.
Let us leave the comparison for now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning. Yes, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Pat Kenneth.
Where are you calling
from? Bile.
Bile. Okay, please go ahead.
What the last speaker have just mentioned is he's trying to play with the governor of Favoring, but then he must have one or two things that is from his own community, is from River State. Well, I will mention that the governor have done well on the flyover. But why every governor that comes from the highland flyover is good. But we are directing him, look at Okrika. Okrika is about probably 10 to 15 kilometers. You can complete that one from there to Borokrie, or the flyover is in trouble with Madam. EFCC also pushing her on that. If none, let him take a look at that. Like the area of Bile there, from Obonoma in Akukutori local government, there's a road. We need it extended to Bile K. The communities around there will also enjoy it.
All right, then. Thank you very much.
We know that it won't go far, but we just want to talk.
Thank you. It's not we just want to talk. It will go far. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
Good day, Annie. Good morning.
Good morning. What's your name?
My name is Comrade Patrick.
All right, Comrade Patrick.
I'm calling from AKE 78.9 billion.
Okay, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Elele.
Go ahead. Good to have you.
Fine. Let me start with the 774,000 jobs that is supposed to be for the poorest of the poor. I want to disagree with the honorable member Okere there. Even if he has been a honorable member before, should not mean that honorable members should have a slot. That 15% should be jettisoned.
He never said they ought to have a slot. He did say so.
No, he's, in a way, he's supporting them. But see,
no, he said they're honorable members, so they must be respected. Yeah, that is what he was trying to. Not that they should be giving 15%. He never said so.
Okay, fine. That 15% should be jettisoned. In fact, I'm even calling on Nigerians. They should on that regard. But I will not tell them to go to the state because of the COVID-19. But they should not attempt it because the 774 local government is under their jurisdiction. Their constitution. So if anybody in a local government benefits, is still under them. So they should never attempt to take even a slot because they have all the way to take care of themselves and their entire family. That is by the way. Secondly, on transparency, on judicial use of the money River State is claiming. Please, the governor cannot be a judge on his case. We should be the one to tell him you have judiciously used the money that River State has. He should not be the one to tell us, yes, you have used, because we don't know how much that is accrued. We don't know how much that is expended, that is allocated for this in the budget. We don't even know where the River State is. So he has lied to River State. What he's doing.
All right.
In fact, we will call on the someday, sometime, they will be prosecuted. They will be proved.
All right,
whatever they like, they should do, but they will be proved.
We got your thoughts there. Thank you very much. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
Hello.
Yes. Good morning.
Yeah, Annie, my name is Comrade Jude James Udonko. I'm calling from Okrika.
Good to have you. Go ahead.
Let me just take to just resolve his problem with the National Assembly because, you know, the man has known the assistant of the National Assembly for the past long time ago. He thought he's still the same way of hijacking all what belongs to Nigeria. So we should just go in and discuss with them and see how they can resolve it so that Nigeria and Nigeria masses will move forward under the good gesture of the President Muhammadu Buhari. Then let me quickly come into Rivers State. See, we had in the radio that about 170-something billion naira was withdrawn in a flat rate, in a bank in Rivers State, which today nobody have. The Rivers State government have not denied that. Up to today, the governor has been busy disturbing the EFCC not to investigate the account, but the governor has immediately sacked the director of one of the board in Rivers State for mismanagement of funds. Is that the governor's job to do that investigation and become a court and to discreet and to discharge the person? But if you need to investigate. Now, today we are talking about public procurement department law in Rivers State or in Nigeria. We have not seen any acts in Rivers State to know how much is being budgeted to public procurement acts. How is the governor running the affair? The House of Assembly cannot tell us how much is being used to flag up one project. We saw in Okrika when the governor came to flag with OK Construction Company, but in Port Harcourt, Julius Berger will be working. In the rural area like Okrika and the river area, they require those Julius Berger. Then they will give us OK. That will take 6 months to control only just drainage. That's the kind of construction that we're having. They're begging the governor, if he wants Rivers State to be happy with him, to show that he's doing the right thing, he should come to Okrika and other part of Rivers State and create jobs and create infrastructure development with reasonable amount of money and allow us to access the budget. So we know how much is being budgeted for each of the projects.
Okay, we got your thoughts too on that. Thank you very much. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
Annie, good morning. Greetings.
Good morning.
Yes, this is Lawson calling from Melagua.
Lawson, good to have you. Yeah, go ahead.
When you see somebody hiding a budget away from the public, hiding documents, you understand, that will show, you understand, that either the person is spending that money or not. What do you think that person is, Annie? When you hide financial documents away from the public as a public officer, what do you think the person is? No, I
don't think he wants to.
No, seriously, it is unfortunate. I am telling you that I am here. This guy is ridiculous.
All right.
You don't show anything. Nobody has seen any financial document, and you say you are prudent. I don't understand.
Okay.
You find face that they monitor budget. And how do they monitor? It's through these documents, the budget and other financial documents. And he said for some years they've not been able to do that because they cannot lay their hands on any of those documents.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
What kind of people are we in Nigeria? If you this kind of statement, you make it in some kind of a climb. I'm telling you that you're uprising. I'm not saying that should be uprising, but I said in other climes.
We got your thoughts there, Lawson. Thank you very much. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. This is Mr. Fred Watkins.
Mr. Fred, good to have you. Where are you calling from?
Yes, sir. I am so interested about what the topic that you are taking up here. Right? I'm saying that what is really happening is that criticism has a lot of things to do in human life. We criticize positively and we also criticize negatively. Those who criticize negatively, they have nothing to do.
Sir, please, could you just get straight to the point? What is it you want to comment on?
Hello, right? I'm just talking about, people are talking about Governor Wike spending extravagantly, or he's not spending, that is not spending to bring out the budget for people to see.
Yes.
Yeah. I disagree with them.
What do you disagree? Which parts do you disagree with?
I disagree with them is that.
What do you disagree with?
Yeah, what budget is made that go to the Minister of Finance, budget department, you get it, or log in. It's there. If you look at the other the radio stations, some of the radio stations, some of them have acknowledged that they have seen it.
Which one? Which one? Tell me one. Tell me one. No. Which one? So maybe I can approach them and get the copy from them.
Nigerian Info, call them.
They say they have a copy.
Yeah, they do. They have a copy of that particular budget. And I wonder why they people should come up and do it. And then I'm just telling you, it's on public domain.
All right. It's nothing. No. That I would not agree with you. Maybe another station has it. Maybe I don't know what they did to get it. But for you to say it's in public domain, that's not true.
Fine. All right. It's only when I apply for it. Okay. Are you writing a project?
We'll apply them. Maybe we'll have to apply again.
Are you writing thesis? Are you writing this? That is when.
So is it only when you're writing thesis or you're writing something that you have access to the budget?
Somebody who will just get a document and then begin to look at it that it's just a rush.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello, today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Annie and the guest in the studio.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Comrade Fabian calling from Aba.
Comrade Fabian, good to have you. Go ahead.
Yeah. Annie, this issue we are talking about, the issue of Kayamo and the National Assembly, this has been a lingering crisis in Nigeria. This is why you will never know when there is vacancy or employment going on in the NNPC, or in the CBN, or any top government of offices. Because it's meant for people that knows people. It's meant for those that are cronies to the senators or the governors. If all these things are not public, and if it's not in the public domain, we will never know. So that's the issue. Because Kayamo is raising ground now, everybody is talking about it. When it's in NNPC, they will go behind and employ their friends. And what they are saying about the River State, nobody can be a judge in his own case. The governor is just blowing his own trumpet, and will not accept it because you cannot blow your own trumpet. You will allow people outside to look at it and tonight say, hey, governor, you are okay. You cannot just tell us that you are prudent in your management and we are.
Okay. Sure. We got your thoughts there. Thank you very much. Let me quickly read some text messages. This here says anybody that hides public financial document is a hiding leader. Good morning, Annie. Governor Wike should invest in Rivers people, employ Rivers youths, and develop rural areas of Rivers State faith. We send that in from Rumosi. Good morning, Annie. Please, Governor Wike should go to other local government areas. People are crying for help. He's busy developing only Port Harcourt. For me, the governor lacks advanced. Alario Valentine from Rumuapachi. Good morning, Annie and the guest in the studio. I see nothing like prudent management of resources here. Was 2 billion naira used as palliative budgeted for 118 billion naira withdrawn cash as alleged. I disagree with him. Amuta, I send that in from Woji. What do you expect from a vision